I got things to do tonight, so let's get this thing moving.
I've got things to do tonight. Let's get this moving. The Cam Leclerc story. I think that's more of the everybody's. You should always, by the way, you should always have a sort of what the colon to your biography would be.
Continuing tonight on Two C's in a Pod. 96.7 on your
Two C's in a pod, 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 two C's just like two C's in a pod, because we're two C's in a pod, just like two C's in a pod, two C's in a pod at gmail.com. Folks, that is right.
That was pretty on the nose right there.
That was pretty goddamn on the nose. Always writing my autobiography, Cam. I'm always writing your biography. Let's tell the kids at home what they're listening to. You know you're listening. To Two C's in a Pod. Of course, this is, oh man. It's a podcast, all right. It's more of a
radio show.
Delayed. Now. It's delayed radio on demand. I believe it was monikered at one point. My name is Cameron Osborne. The original Cameron Osborne, by the way. The next man I'm going to introduce, his name is Cam Leclerc, but formerly named Cameron Osborne. There was that little incident a couple weeks ago.
We don't talk about that, yeah.
Where you were kind of announced that we had the same name. Like those Spider-Men.
Sometimes I get ahead of myself.
Those Spider-Men looking at each other. And,
yeah, that was a good one.
You know what? There was a time in the show where we would start off the show and just kind of give folks sort of like a little rundown of what the show was. Cam, do you think you could do that? What do you think? How would you surmise this?
The best way I would surmise this is if you're looking to listen like you're in a room with two people who have a lot in common, but not a lot at all, know how to throw jokes around, know how to play games with each other, and overall have a good time, you probably listen to the right podcast. We play games together. We talk about whatever the hell's going on in political events. We talk about foreign affairs. We talk about the Syrian attacks. We talk about a lot of football talk. There's some cricket talk. Yeah, so number one podcast for cricket out there.
So I gotta clear. In those quick 2 sentences I asked for you to give me, you would end it in number one cricket podcast. That's how you would finish
it's
it
the
off.
Number one cricket non-political podcast that deals with Syrian conflicts.
Yeah, I had so many folks at home. We had so many plans. I know Cam and I did. We're on a vacation planned in Syria. Beautiful location. We're always looking for these new corporate retreats. As soon as I heard that
all these planes leaving, we thought we could hop on one back.
We thought it'd be easy, and then as soon as I heard about plutonium being smuggled in, I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ! Well, now we got to cancel the little corporate retreat there."
It's a shame. It's a shame. Looks like vacation's canceled this year. And the nice thing is, because I work for a corporation, I still have a bunch of vacation time, and I don't really know what to do with it. So I might just start taking days off.
Wow, a day off, Cam. What would you do with such a what's the word?
Foreign concept?
I guess foreign concept. I mean, to me, that's you live life off.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably find something to do. I guess I kind of took Monday off because that was a holiday, and I didn't have any plans because I just had to watch over the baby, Darla. And I woke up fucking stupid early because she woke up, and she doesn't have the tendency to get drunk at night and then be tired in the morning, like some of us.
Who, your dog?
Yeah, she doesn't do that.
Why
Someone
not?
else in the house does.
Jesus.
Yeah, she's not a big drinker. She drinks water. No, lame. Anyway, we woke up, I think at probably like 5:30, and then we watched a movie at 6 a.m. We watched Lone Survivor with Mac Wahlberg. That was a great one. It was pretty good. And then we went and played a little bit. We played with the other dogs. Yeah, I didn't do much that day. It was kind of the first day where I'm like, oh, this is what recovering your body feels like. Made a good lunch. Made a good dinner, I think. I don't know.
Wow, the way you kind of all fit together your day off. Wow.
What do you mean?
I don't know. No, it's great. It's great to break down the day into so many little parts, and then you get to do a little bit of this and then a little bit of that, just like that song.
Yeah. Might have did a little working out too. Yeah, I think I did.
See?
I don't know. I got my kettlebell here. I don't know. I don't think my gym's gonna open anytime soon. Oh no, it did. This is the story of the guy we've got about who makes his own Nike shoes. Meathead Magana.
Oh, we have spoken about this guy before. Is he a character? Is he a character?
He's a character.
That's worth,
he's a
that's
character.
Worth noting? Okay.
We've talked about him before, and now his gym is like exclusive as far as I know, and I think that just means you have to make appointments, but he's like, we're only doing a certain amount of memberships, no more, get in quickly. And then it's like 3 weeks later, it's like hardly any spaces left, and then like a month later, it's like we're filling out way too fast, and you're like, I don't think anyone's buying this shit. So
a month of hardly any spots left.
Yeah, like, this is insane. We've never seen this little spots left. So yeah, just sticking to the kettlebells and then doing Muay Thai as well, which might get closed as well. Mm-hmm. Who the hell knows at this point? I'm just glad I'm not in Toronto because I think everything's closed down there.
Muay Thai, more like your Thai.
Yeah, more like my Thai. Get it?
I guess so, Cam. Last week, just to catch the folks up at home, we went over some hot Thanksgiving topics. Got a lot of positive feedback. Cam, were you able to take some of these Thanksgiving topics home with you? Where did they land? Anything?
Well, you know what? It actually leads very well into the next segment, which is the top 5 things my uncle said during this Thanksgiving.
Here's a top 5. Here are 5 tips about things. 5 ways to. No, it's just a top 5.
Oh, this is fantastic. Fucking uncle. Now, Cam, you are known, and I think, this is no secret. It's literally in your name. To there possibly to be some French Canadian background.
Possibly, yeah. No, I think it's very possible.
Because Cam, if you look at your name and then hear the name, 2 different spellings.
It's very much so. Yeah, one's like, is that Leclerc, and how many capitals do you put in there? And you're like, oh, is that Smythe or is it Smith? Yeah, that's what I thought, you dummy. It's Leclerc. So this list is compiled of maybe not things that my uncle personally has said. I'm sure he has, but shit that uncles say at Thanksgivings. And we all know the rule of thumb with uncles. If you don't have a crazy uncle, your dad's the crazy uncle.
Oh, that would be a good point. I've got a couple uncles. No, they're fine. I guess my dad's.
Sorry to hear that, bud.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Well, the thing is, my dad had like 8 brothers and sisters, and that's just 1/3. So it's a mess. So starting off our and these are all different. Like, these might not be the exact words you heard from your uncle this Thanksgiving, but put it together. Coming at number 5, you know what? I'm just glad we have freedom of speech, which means that he's going to say something pretty racist coming up.
Yeah, it's like it's nothing good starts with a preposition to that effect. Like nothing good starts with no offense, but.
Yeah. There's more of that to come.
Or I'm glad there's free speech. Therefore, anything that presupposes.
Therefore, I'm okay to say this. Yeah.
Anything that goes right before a no good.
Yeah, and that was actually said at a dinner table this weekend, and that's what brought the list together, because the person, we were doing toast and saying what we were thankful for, and then one person said, "I'm just thankful that this country has free speech," and I'm like, what's next? Like lay it on me. Yeah. I'm sure that's not the statement you really want to make. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah. What are you really trying to say here? Like, I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, I feel like the next thing you're gonna say might be a little controversial.
It may not be. Yeah, because that's you trying to cover the bases, like, beforehand. You're like, well, it's not rude because I've said this before it, which justifies the thing I'm about to say.
Yeah, this justifies everything I just said. And you're like, sure.
Muy bueno.
You're fucking crazy, Uncle Bob. Next one up is, I guess, slandering a politician. And the line I came up with is, nice hair, though. And you're like, God, that was 8 years ago now.
Oh,
that's all you got?
A nice hair, though, of course.
Nice hair, though.
Nice hair, dough. Where you at, dough?
He's just not ready. So, yeah, you're going to get some of those. You're going to get whatever, what do you call it? What's it called when a country gives you propaganda? Whatever propaganda one party that you like fed you, just repeating that back at the dinner table.
See, fortunately for me and Cam, I love this whole list. For me, so like my mom's family is super in line politically.
Yeah.
Because it was like a small group. It'd be like 9 or 10 of us, and half of us
Green
couldn't.
Party, baby.
And half of us couldn't fucking vote, you know. And then the Osborns are a little bit bigger, but still, I would say most, like, not enough to really hate each other in that kind of way, right?
Yeah.
Where
I think it's more of an American thing, honestly, of just like hating each. I think most people in Canada can kind of get behind, like, you know what? He's got different political views, but still my brother.
Exactly. It's the or it's the knowing that things are different socially and like financially speaking. It's a whole different thing. But
it's I'm sure you've heard one of those before.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see if I can recall like the most controversial thing that was ever said at a family reunion of mine. I think it may have been me, actually. So,
what'd you say?
I said at a family Christmas. Okay, so this was with my stepmom's family, who, like, I was in the family for years. I was an established. This happened like 7 years ago. No, I was in high school, maybe like 19. So it was Christmas, and I was sitting closest to the tree. We're handing out gifts with my kind of immediate step family, and then a couple cousins and a couple aunts and uncles and the grandparents. So I'm sitting closest to the tree, and then I get asked, Cameron,
Can I take a guess?
Okay.
Do you bring up the Jews?
No. I leave.
Oh, okay.
I tend to leave the Jews out of it. They've had a tough time.
It's a good call. It doesn't go over well.
It's literally never a good idea to bring it up. No, so I'm sitting closest to the tree, and naturally I get asked, Cameron, would you like to distribute the gifts? We're about to give out the gifts. It must be
I love it. Can I guess where it's coming? And now you're going to be the communist, something communist.
I like to give the communists, so I like to just kind of lay off them. They get a lot of flack.
Do I look like Che Guevara?
Just because I grew up my beard and I'm wearing an old army fatigue doesn't mean I'm Che Guevara all of a sudden. I just start smoking cigars. I wear a little hat, but it doesn't mean I'm Che Guevara. And I'm like, okay, I'll distribute the gifts. So I start handing them out, and my stepsister had, I think, sewn or knitted sweaters or scarves or something for a couple of the cousins, and her intention was that they open their gift at the same time. Okay, and I was literally nobody would have been aware of this because that doesn't fucking matter because we were all like 20. They were not children who need to open their gift at the same time or whatever. And then, so like I hand out a gift and then she says, no, that goes to this. And I'm like, okay. And then, no, they have to open at the same time. I'm like, okay. It was just kind of, she starts giving me all these orders and directions. And I just say,
I'm the captain now.
I did look very... I did happen to be really skinny at the time. I was holding an AK-47 Tom Hanks' face, but just because I was holding a gun Tom Hanks' face when we were on a big boat doesn't mean I was the captain now. It was just a coincidence. But I told her, I said, Jesus Christ, why don't you do this yourself?
Ooh.
So this is a two-parter for me. One, because I use that term, I use Jesus Christ all the time.
The JC.
Sure. Big JC over here.
The big JC.
But what was kind of the kicker is that my mom's side of the family is just they're all like my grandma and grandpa were born in England, came
Jerusalem.
over here.
No.
Just because no, they were born in Britain and came over here, so they're still very like kind of traditionally British. They have their accents and tea after dinner and all that kind of shit. Like they're still
some tea and crumpet. Oh, that
exactly.
Else,
we have to eat fucking. We have to get figgy pudding every single fucking Christmas, and it doesn't start tasting any better. It still tastes like ass.
Cameron,
no
you
matter
might
what.
take your elbows off the table.
Oh,
Daniel,
my God.
would you stop shitting yourself?
Oh, there's so much. Just because my elbows were on the table and I was shitting myself doesn't mean. But that was exactly it. And so due to their just kind of like traditional Britishisms, it was, and it didn't really occur to me that it was the religious context of me saying it. I thought they were all looking at me like you kind of like raised your voice at like a family member on Christmas. That wasn't what they cared about. No, it was the fact that I said Jesus Christ.
They dropped the big JC.
But like we'll say great. We'll say like a grace before dinner, but it's not like we're fucking. Like Santa is the biggest theme of Christmas. Yeah. There's no Jesus imagery around. Yeah,
did you go to church that day?
Absolutely not. I'm pretty.
Yeah. Did you go the Sunday before?
Just because I burn up in a little bit of flames anytime I enter a church doesn't mean I'm not allowed in one. It just means it gets really hot. I really start to sweat.
My dad always told me that only sinners go to church, so I don't need to go.
That's a good point. No, way to go, Anj. I think it was just the combined. I said Jesus Christ. I didn't think we were religious enough to care. And that's what I was most confused about.
That's the line?
And then it was kind of like, Cameron, watch your language. And it was like, what? Like, that's what we care about right now? Like, our priorities are all over the place. There's my Christmas story. Cam, I'm so sorry. I interrupted your...
Oh, no, I love a good tangent.
I cut in after 4. 4 got me going. You should see me on my chair right now. I'm just writhing around.
He's rocking around.
I really am.
He's rocking around the Christmas tree.
I'm like stretching one leg. Of course, I've got the big whiteboard behind me. We keep buying these new whiteboards, writing out the very, very strategic and meticulous details. Scheduling of the show. And then, Cam, you're immediately writing over with permanent marker because you mistake it for the other marker.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah, I like to draw.
They're different shapes. They're different shapes of markers. One's a Sharpie. It's kind of like long and thin. The other one's like a thick.
It writes better. I'm just hoping one of these days it'll erase.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. And number 3 coming on the list. You've mentioned this one before, Cam. It's some iteration of I'm not racist, but.
It's, yes, the preface, I'm not racist.
The preface.
But.
Yeah. I'm not racist, but I think that X group needs to pipe down with their blank, right?
The X group.
I'm not homophobic, but why do they need a parade, right?
No,
I'm sure you've heard that one before.
You said you're not homophobic.
I'm not homophobic, but I don't like Motorola.
Woo, there you said it. There you caught it. You're right. Anytime anybody starts something
I said it. Fuck Motorola.
Yeah, you're here first. Fuck Motorola. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that shit. You know how many razors I went through? This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Because second call out, by the way. Fuck Motorola and fuck Ben Roethlisberger. I said it again. Twice here on the podcast. Fuck you, Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, there I said it.
Double check that there's no kids around.
Don't tell me. Don't tell. I'm hands off over here. There, I said it. Come at me, bro. Come at us.
Oh, boy. And number 2 from the racist uncle. I'm not saying it's all of them.
Yeah, that's problematic, too. God. What's it like
I'm sure you've seen that one.
French-Canadian
I'm not saying it's all of them, but again, it's the preface next to, skip that part. Let's get what you really want to say here.
Yeah, because cut that out, and then we know what's actually being said.
Right. And number 1, topping off our list for shit your uncle probably said this Thanksgiving. So I'm watching CNN the other day. So I'm watching Fox News the other day. Why are you watching Fox News or CNN? You live in Canada.
My first question is, how do you get Fox News? I'm pretty sure Fox News isn't on cable. You just can't get Fox News. This isn't like
I have to explain how Netflix works, but somehow they're able to illegally stream Fox News.
How you are able to find it, too. I can't even find how to stream movies or shows or... God.
Did you hear what Tucker Carlson said about Trump last night?
Why
no,
would
I didn't.
Why would I have heard that?
You see the one with the white hair? I don't know.
Oh my God. I mean,
boy. I've heard that one a few times.
It's one thing to know the names and faces of certain, news figures. I get that. I get what I know what Maury Povich looks like. One of the biggest news figures.
He kind of look like? Oh, he's more. Is that Maury? That
Hell
guy?
Yes, it is. You know exactly what Maury Povich looks like.
Yeah, loose-fitting suit. You're not the father.
Or sometimes he is the father.
I told you.
So this is, but yeah, truly listening to what these people have to say. That being said, put on CP24 if you really want to know what the fuck's going on.
When I go to my parents' place and I see that they're watching that, I'm like, this is the television that you're watching.
CP24, the official television program of dentists and doctors' offices. And gyms.
I pay for my parents and my sister out of Netflix. Why? I don't know. My sister uses it consistently. My parents, they'll put on a movie every once in a while. I'm like, there's television shows on there that I think you'd like. They're like, but CP24 is on. It's a very good programming. It's very consistent.
But how else are you going to find out the news, weather, traffic?
I need to know the exact temperature in Toronto, which is 100 kilometers from them in a dime second.
Where else are you going to get 20-minute delayed stock information? Constantly on a ticker.
They're looking at the traffic like, 401's bad. And I'm like, you're both retired.
You're retired. What does it matter? The 427's blocked to Bramalea. This isn't important to you.
You haven't left the house in months.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
You come to Waterloo. That's it. You don't go to the city. I don't get it. It's like, do you see the thing on the news about the cat that went water skiing? No. Nor should I. I got bigger things.
I've got other shit to do. Why am I checking out the shittiest animal on shitty water skis? Why would I care about that?
The thing is, you think you use 2 skis, it uses 4 skis.
Mom, I'm allergic. You know this. This is information you know.
Oh, that's a good one. All right. Well, thank you.
Does that conclude the list?
That's number 1.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That concludes the list, yeah.
Cam, that was fantastic. I would like to give if I may give an honorable mention.
Certainly.
I would like to give an honorable mention to, I was reading on Facebook.
Oh, that's a good one that I missed out on. That might have been number 1.
That could have been a good one.
Or did you see this picture on Facebook? You're like, we're not friends.
Anything on Facebook. Anything.
I don't use Facebook.
Anything with Facebook in the title.
I'm sure you've seen this on Facebook. You're like, I don't use that.
I'm sure you've seen this on Facebook. Nobody uses Facebook. That being said, follow Two Season Pod on Facebook. We have one of those old. Remember back when bands would have you would have to. There was no pages thing. You would have to just make a new account for your band. Yeah. We did that, so we're a person now. Two Season Pod is a person. We're not like a thing you like. You have to add us as a friend. I definitely remember doing that in early Facebook years. Cam, what an incredible list.
Do you remember that on Facebook, they used to have those pages that were like if you think that the Tim Hortons in Mississauga kind of smells like cat urine.
Yes, the most obscure or oddly specific group titles sometimes.
Yeah, like if you think that you kind of think that Joe DiMaggio's hot, but in like a sexy old way.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one didn't have many likes.
That didn't have that many likes. You're right. I did check that one out. Really not that many likes. Cam though, a lot of like dummy accounts that seem to use very similar names. Things like Cammy Leclerc. Cammy like with an IE, and then there was also
Camerson.
Yes, and there was a couple Dameron Leclerc, there's kind of like different
Lamrin
Leclerc. A lot of these sort of things. They were kind of like a lot of these. Did you ever have like dummy accounts or?
No, I know I'm not a catfish.
No. Of course not. Of course you're not a catfish.
No, I don't. I'm not a catfish. Well, Shannon asked me today because we were watching Catfish, and then this guy was like saying on the TV. He was like, "Oh yeah, I don't have any social media accounts." He was just texting this to this girl they're trying to pick up. Trying to pick up your honey. You're texting her, right? And then she looks at me and she goes, "You don't have any social media accounts. Are you a catfish?" And I really had to think to myself, I fucking might be.
Oh my god! Were you? I would. Cam, you were so worried that Neve was just gonna come like bursting in that door right there.
Called my phone. Hey, Cameron.
You're like,
how did you find it? It's like, have you been messaging this person on LinkedIn? You're like, no.
Yeah,
certainly not.
Neve, Max, the whole production company just came bursting in through your back door.
You got.
They almost caught you to be a catfish. They almost caught you.
Damn, yeah, that would have been. Thank God. Every day I wake up and thank God that I'm not a catfish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Other news that happened this week. I got a random text from my mom, Audrey, who texted me and she said, "Are you going to court?" And I said, "Uh-oh." Because you never know what that means.
That could mean so many things. That could mean that you need to go to court. That could mean that you need to pick somebody up from court.
Yeah.
That could mean...
Are you going to court?
That could mean so much.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, I need to call the house ASAP. Because at first I'm thinking, I'm recalling back. I'm like, the thing I'm thinking is, did I accidentally hit someone's car? I'm like, I don't think so. Did I piss in public? No. And then I'm like, did I get caught on a camera doing something? I'm like, I can't. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. But then I call, and they're like, you have a thing from the governor general like court. Do you want me to open it? And I take the risk. I'm like, let's open it. Let's do it live. So she opens it, and now I remember a year ago I did a survey for jury duty, sent it in. They want me in.
You're doing jury duty?
I'm not going to... No. They want me to go to Guelph to do the initial questioning phase.
That's sick. That is sick.
I know. I'm so pumped.
Yes. Oh, my God.
So, as a contest for the listeners on the pod...
getting interesting. Jesus Christ.
For the contest for the listeners of the pod, you can buy my first statement as a juror for $100, and I will say it.
Wow.
$100, and I will say guilty.
Now it's interesting, Cam, that
whatever
you said that
you want.
Because
whatever you want.
Because I'm literally
$100 will buy the first thing.
It's funny you say that because
that comes out of my mouth.
I'm literally pretty sure that you saying that would actually, if you actually caught you saying that would be a reason for them not to put you on jury duty. Cam, this is after 40 some odd episodes of this podcast. It's finally gotten fucking interesting.
Finally, we've been waiting this whole time.
We've been waiting this whole time for something interesting to happen, for the show to maybe become like a true crime thing. It's sort of because true crime podcasts.
It's gonna be like insurance fraud or something like that.
Yeah, true crime podcasts.
I seen the man. I seen him. He walked on his 2 feet. He's been going around that wheelchair like Ray from Trailer Park Boys for months now. I seen the man. It ain't no miracle.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But that being said, maybe insurance fraud, true crime, just because it's not murder doesn't mean it's not truly a crime.
No, it is a crime.
A lot of things can be crimes without, it can be a true crime without it being murder. So, I think this.
I was talking to a friend who has her parents are lawyers, I think, and she was telling me that there's a big issue. I don't think it's an issue, but essentially, corporations always like to take things to the court system with juries. And then the thing that keeps happening is everyone hates corporations. So it's like they'll have all the evidence in the world, be like, yeah, no, that guy's free. Fuck this corporation. And they're just like, come on. But that's what keeps happening. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on the same page as that. Because if I try and sue Taco Bell, guess what's going to happen? Big guy over here is just fucking going to lose because they don't believe that I found a piece of glass in my mucho burrito.
Yeah, so you've started on the all-bell diet. Recently because before and you've been one to do sober October, and you sort of thought to yourself, let's go the other way this well, the all bell diet, the mucho burrito. Is that what you said? You're gobbling these things up.
Yeah, I haven't had Taco Bell in a while, but oh man, the times I have, it just goes through your body and then rips a hole at the other end.
Yeah, I've never had it, so
it's terrible. I mean, it's like, I remember one time, it was in university.
We don't have to go here if we don't want.
Oh no, this isn't not like it ripped my body apart, but this is a different kind of story. So I was with my Don, who would have been like, I think he was probably, when do you graduate at? What, like 22 or 3?
Yeah, you'll graduate at 23.
Okay, so he was probably like 25 at the time.
Nice. Nothing like a cool older guy who hangs out with younger people. Teenagers.
Yeah, you got it. So, anyway, it was like his last night in residence, and I was like, what are you doing tonight? He's like, I'm going to go to Taco Bell at 4 a.m. I'm like, why? He's like, because in my normal life, once I go to school, I can't go to Taco Bell at 4 a.m. And that kind of message stuck with me. I'm like, I think you can. I just don't think it's like your best play.
If anything, you have more freedom as an adult. You got to say, I can do whatever I want.
I certainly can. It's just when I wake up at 4 a.m., I'm kind of like, we're close enough to 5. Like, I might as well be awake now.
Oh, yeah. That's, you're at that point. You know, I mean...
Yeah, I'm like, I'm probably going to go back to bed. I'm not like, I think it's time for some Taco Bell. It's like, it's the last thing on my mind.
If that was the first thing you ate of the day, I would just...
Oh, God. I think it was maybe the last thing. I think he stayed up.
Really set the tone. Well, that's great. You know, nothing like Taco Bell at 4 a.m. when all the ingredients have been sitting there since the midnight rush. They're just kind of cleaning up the store. Well, I guess at that point they don't close. It's just a 24-hour Taco Bell. Who's getting Taco Bell for that matter? Who's getting Taco Bell anytime between 4 and 11 or like noon?
I don't know. I don't think they have like good breakfast
burritos. Those would be like the hours they're closed. They're like 4 to noon.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's a place in Kitchener that does really good sandwiches, but it has the worst hours. It goes like 11 until 2 and then reopens at 5. And you're like,
weird.
You know, it's like 1:50. You're like, can I place an order? They're like, we're closed in 10 minutes. You're like, come on. Right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a breakfast place by me that it closes by like a time, like they need to extend it a little bit. It closes at 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a brunch place, man. This is a brunch place.
What are we doing here?
Fuck me like this.
There, I said it. 2 o'clock is too early to start brunch.
2 o'clock is fucking brunch time.
We need to push us at 3:30. Government 4, get on this.
Honestly,
these are the pressing issues.
Anytime they bring up a conversation about removing daylight savings time, I say no. Change the fucking hours of what brunch is.
Yeah, we don't need Wendy's open till fucking all the time.
Wendy's no, but McDonald's doesn't have to be open 24 hours a day. Let's just change what brunch is. Come on, guys.
Yeah, we need to change that. We need McGriddles back on the menu. That's step number 1. Especially when I finished camping and I was out in the fucking outback for God knows how long. I smell like dog shit and fucking mud.
Jesus Christ, Cam.
I need
well, Cam, because that was okay. Cam, that was because you took that little bath in the pool with the dog shit and the mud. That was your choice. You said that would exfoliate.
I thought it was only mud.
Cam, there were little chunks of like dry dog kibble in there, and you still kept saying to yourself, "This is mud. This is mud."
We keep telling ourselves maybe it's true.
You kept telling yourself. You kept convincing yourself like this isn't dog kibble. These are little wood chips. And even then, Cam, why would there have been wood chips?
When we went camping last, Shannon and I, these guys were coming up it was like a hike-in thing where we're about 5 kilometers in the wilderness. And these guys roll up and you hear them from a mile away. They're like, Brampton mans. And we're like pretty decked out with our stuff. We have good pack, good gear. Not that light, but still light enough, good boots and everything. These guys come in and I can tell their footwear decision was not, let's get nice boots to go hiking. And they're like, don't wear your nice sneakers, wear your bad sneakers so they can get a little bit muddy.
I love that. That's what I would do.
And these guys, like, to get into the campsite, had to walk across this log with just like mud on both sides, and you were guaranteed to slip in.
Yeah, I would.
You needed good boots.
No, I would have got my backup Vans, not the nice Vans. The ones that I like, the everyday Vans. Those are good enough. That's what it's gonna rough.
And you're like, I only need one pair of clothes, and it's like, did you waterproof anything? You're like, why? It's not supposed to rain. You're like, what if it does? You're like, oh, okay. You're like, we're out here for 3 days. You're not gonna get dry. They came, they sat on their rock, and they were looking out, and they're like, because they asked us like, oh, is this whatever campsite? Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, that's your campsite. We go out for a hike. We come back. We're looking up in the sky. We're like, it looks like it's gonna rain today. Like, we're still gonna go on the hike anyway. First thing you want to do is get up all your just waterproofing shit. Get up your tarps, get up your tent, get up everything so that if it just starts pissing right then, you're ready. These guys are just sitting on the rocks looking at the lake like, isn't it beautiful? For like 40 minutes. And I'm like, if it rains, they're fucked. By the time we came back from our hike, they just gave up camping and they left.
They had a nice.
Like, I don't think this is right for us.
They had a nice afternoon in the wilderness and then kind of got home.
Yeah, they were like, "Wow, that was more than we expected." I'm presuming they just forgot something important. Like, they were like, "Hey, John, did you bring the camping stove?" You're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll just make a fire." You're like, "Oh, there's a fire ban." It's like, "Oh, does anyone know how to make a fire?" Like, not really. And then, you're just shit out of luck. You're like, okay, so I guess we can't eat, something like that.
Yeah, you got to prepare for it all. And sometimes people aren't up to the task, but maybe they need that opportunity.
They need that lesson
to learn how to come back better than last time.
Baby, come back. Oh wow, this has been a podcast and a half here.
Actually, it's only been like half of the pod. It's actually literally only
I know, but we've been hot today.
Well, a lot of people have come under the gun. Of course, I can only say incredible things about the new podcast, the Lewis Cisgali podcast. I can only say great things about it. You should go or give it a listen. Cam, you want to play another game? I got one for you.
I love one. Yeah, I love games.
You love games and so do I. Ba, 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 ba. Cam, we're going to play a little March Madness. How's that sound?
Ooh, I love it.
Ooh, baby, I love it. Cam, okay, what we're looking at this week, world records would be a cool thing to hold. If you're like the fastest person or the...
Yep.
This, that, the other. But not all world records are cool. So let's look at some...
That's the only one you can think of. The world records, like,
that would be it for me, I think, because, you are the fastest person ever.
What else is there?
Nobody else has been as fast as you. I think that's kind of like the epitome of it all. But
that's
Cam,
a good point. Think about the schoolyard, right? No one's like, oh, I jumped the highest. Like, but I'm the fastest in the school.
Yeah, if you're the fastest in the school, you got all the schoolyard puss. Cam, what we're looking at today, however, are maybe some lesser world records. So you're going to have to determine through a intricate March Madness bracket which of the world records you would rather hold.
Okay.
So they may not be as fun as, being fast. Cam, okay, first, would you rather hold the record for most rubber ducks? This is a record held by a woman named Charlotte Lee from the United States, who in April in 2011 became the world record holder with 5,631 rubber ducks.
All in the same room?
She owns them. There was a shit ton in the picture. Cam, so would you rather have that record or hold the world record for longest career as an ice cream man? This is a record held by a man named Alan Gaines, who's been an ice cream man for 67 years. Started selling with his dad when he was 10 years old, bought his own truck in 1977, and hasn't stopped since.
Okay, here's my first thought. We're thinking bar play, right? You're going up to a chick, and you're like, icebreaker. You're like, hey, did you hear about the person with the most ducks in the world? And you're like, what? You're like, I hold the most rubber ducks. I owe 167,000 ducks. She's out of there, right? 3 strikes, you're out. Actually, 167,000 strikes, you're out.
That's a good point.
The other one, you're like, oh, what do you do for a living? You're like, oh, I've been an ice cream man. Like, oh, how long have you been doing that? You're like, the longest. Right?
Right. So at that point, it's a brag.
Yeah, you can set yourself up for it so nicely. Every conversation starts around like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an ice cream man. Oh, how did you get into that? Well, I started 67 years ago with my dad. That's a really long time. Yeah, it's actually the longest. And that's where it's just like the actual longest, you're like, and then you just pull out this Guinness World Record that you keep in your back pocket, unfold it. You're like,
official,
bam.
By the way.
Yeah, official. So I'm taking that one.
Ice cream man. Going on to the second round. That's a lot of fun. Okay, Cam. Next, would you rather hold the world record for the tallest hat? So at 15 feet and 9 inches, Odillion Ozare of the United States holds the record. So in order to get the record, you had to wear this hat, which kind of looks like a top hat, but 15 feet 9 inches tall. And you have to walk 10 meters without touching it, without it falling off. So that is the just so we know, that's how official this is. 10 meters.
I'm glad you clarified.
Just so we can clarify.
I had a lot of questions.
Would you rather have the tallest hat, or would you rather have blown the biggest gum bubble with your nose? This belongs to a woman named Joy Samuels of Louisville, who blew a bubblegum bubble with her nose measuring 11 inches, like from mouth to tip. So what is that? Diameter, I guess?
Yeah, that's diameter. That one's a pretty easy call for me because I think you need to practice that a lot, and I just don't like chewing gum that much. So you're just like gnawing on gum all the time, and you're like, oh, it wasn't that big this time. Like, it wasn't the first time she's made that big of a bubble, right?
There was a lot of practice to blow a big bubble with your nose.
There's just gum everywhere in your house, right? You're the top hat man. You're like, get me a large top hat. You're like, how large would you want? You're like, what's the record? 14? Make it 15 feet high. It's like, all right, sir. And it's like, how, just 10? Okay, yeah, sure. Work on your balance a little bit, it's easy, right? I'm taking that one just for the lack of not having gum everywhere.
The tallest hat. Well, hey, I'm glad that when you opened this up with, thinking about it like you're trying to hit on somebody. Because I was also thinking about the same thing, but also just things that you think would impress people, that people would be cool about.
Certainly.
Okay, Cam. Next up, would you rather have the world record for the most children? We're talking about a man named Fyodor Vasilyev. I practiced this before we did this. Vasilyev. There we go.
Yeah.
Who lived in the 18th century in Moscow, who had 87 children. He and his 2 wives sired 22 sets of twins, 9 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. He was born in 1707, started having kids when he was 18, didn't stop until he was 58 years old. And the craziest thing is, all but 2 of his 87 children are still alive. So
oh my God. So I was going to say he was probably popping them out, but they were all dying.
85 of 87 made it. So that's your first option. Or would you rather hold the world record for the most kidney stones removed? Ooh. This belongs to...
These are equally as painful.
This belongs to Dhanraj Wadili, I don't know, of India, who had, after months of complaining with lower gut pain, had 172,155 individual kidney stones removed, everything ranging from 1 millimeter to 2.5 centimeters.
Did he get them surgically removed, or did he piss them all out?
They were surgically removed. Yeah, he didn't piss. Sorry, he didn't.
Oh,
he didn't piss. That would be like a fucking AK-47 BB gun of just.
And that's. Oh boy. And that's how the war started.
And that's how the Great War of India started.
Okay, I think the funny thing about this is if you asked either men if they'd switch places with each other, it'd be like in a heartbeat, right? The one man who has that many kids are like, I'm tired all the time. My words hardly make sense anymore. Like, what is life? I have no money left.
Yep.
It's just, I'm just raising children all the time. It's terrible. There's always something crying, always one in their teen years. Actually, there's much more than one, right? And the other one's like, I understand that that's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but having 1,000 kidney stones.
Cam, you didn't hear me right. 172,155. This isn't like a couple fucking. This isn't a couple thousand kidney stones here.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the kidney stones just because.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, this is this
was
was an upset. This was an upset for me. This wasn't.
I just can't imagine like being. Oh my god, having that many kids and just, your whole life is just like raising kids. There's nothing else to it.
Nothing else to it. Okay, Cam, we're coming up on our final first round matchup. We have. Would you rather hold the world record for the longest hiccup attack? This belonged to a man named Charles Osborne. Began hiccuping in 1922, and it wasn't until the year 1990, which is 68 years later for you math boy, that he was actually able to stop. The hiccup attack was a result of a broken blood vessel, which damaged a part of his brain that stopped him from hiccuping. Very odd. Don't quite get the science about it. To put things in perspective, this man would hiccup an average of 30 times a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, think about
that's
that.
A bad one. Oh, I thought it was like once a minute or something.
No, doesn't
like
stop.
Oh
doesn't stop.
God.
Would you rather hold that record, or Cam, would you rather hold the world record for most failed driving test attempts? This is a record from South Korea where a woman named Cha Sa-soo failed her 960th consecutive attempt at getting her driver's license.
Well, there's a statement I heard today that I really liked, and it was, once you start quitting, it gets a little easier every time. And I appreciate that lady's persistence.
So, but Cam, like you said, you meet a girl, she says like, what do you want to do? And you say, how about you pick me up? And she says, oh, do you not have a car? And then you're like, funny story, I have failed 960 consecutive attempts. That's thousands of dollars. Just trying to get your license.
They're like, what are you getting wrong? You're like, I'm blind. They keep giving me this written test.
I keep asking for the test in Braille, and they're like, no, you have to do the written test. I'm like, well, I can't see the Scantron. How I can't fill it in if I can't see the Scantron. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, but man, the hiccups, I hate the hiccups. And when I get them for more than 10 minutes, I'm so frustrated.
You get frustrated. That's the thing.
But 60 years of it, I'm like, holy smokes.
68.
That's just,
68.
Okay, so almost 7. So I mean, basically your whole life.
Yeah.
It's just like, damn, these things really aren't going away. Imagine after like the third day, you're like, this is insane.
You're like, these aren't going away. This is life now. This is life now. This is what life is now.
Oh, trying to drink anything.
You couldn't have a podcast. How are you supposed to have a podcast? Welcome to 2C-in-a-pod. The first podcast hosted by Hiccuping.
Or just trying to drink anything. You're out with the fellas. You're like, cheers.
The bartender's like, I'm not going to serve you. You're hiccuping. You're drunk. And you're like, no, I just got here. I'm not drunk. I just got here.
You're like, no, sir, I've been hiccuping for 15 years now. You're like, that sounds like a bogus story.
Yeah, next thing you need like a little like asterisk on a driver's license, so when they look at it, like, by the way, this guy's not always drunk, he's not hiccuping, he has a... So Cam, what...
Once that lady finally gets her, she's gonna need an asterisk on it too. It's like a gold license. It's like on her 950th attempt.
So Cam,
I would take that one.
What's it gonna be? The failed
driver's
driving
license. Yeah.
Okay, Cam, that's perfect. So that sets up a great second round matchup between the 67+ year ice cream man or the almost 16-foot hat wearer.
Here's the question that I have to think to myself. Would I want to be an ice cream man for that many years? Because it's cool bar play. I do have that right. But at the same time, I look at it and I go, I feel like I've kind of wasted my life if I've been doing this for 67 years.
I mean, who knows? If you're fulfilled by your community and, respected, maybe that's worth more than dollars and cents.
Yeah, maybe, but probably not. So I'm going to take the 10-foot hat.
The 10-foot hat, making moves down the card. Okay, Cam, our second round matchup is between the 172,155 kidney stones or the 960 consecutive failed attempts at driving.
I mean, this is just a loser's bracket here. Let's be honest. Can I change my opinion on the ice cream man? I kind of prefer his job. I think you're right about cherishing the community.
So wait, you'd rather take the ice cream man? I don't know. I don't think have we ever gone back on a March Madness pick? I mean, Cam, it's your game. What do you say? What are the rules?
I say yes.
This is cemented in. Okay, great. But back to the matter at hand, the kidney stones and the terrible driver. Both are going to be tough to bring up on a date, and something that you're going to have to bring up on a date.
Yeah, it's a... Do you have to bring up the kidney stones, though?
I think it's going to come up. It's going to come up when she sees the big scar in your belly, and then she's like, what's that? And you're like, oh, funny story. I had all these kidney stones.
Crazy story. Here, sorry, what's up? Just put her in the X Pen for... Oh, just bring her in here, actually. Interruption on the podcast. We had producers coming in. Just never known what to do with whiteboards.
The whiteboard's behind me. By the way, never put a producer on mic. I will not have a producer or somebody walk in on my show. God damn it. If I hear another voice, I'm going to snap.
So, we got... How many kidney stones again? It's over 100,000?
172,155.
Okay, so I wonder if in South Korea they
India.
have in India, if they have a ruling on how spaced apart the tests have to be. They can't.
Oh, sorry, that was in South Korea. Yeah, I didn't look too much into the kind of like the Department of Transportation and Motor Vehicles that in South Korea.
Because that
could be something I look into for the next show, or we'll get the nerds at home. We'll get some of the the interns to work on that. But yeah, I mean, picture Ontario rules then. You know, where if you fail, you have to pay an extra $30 and you can take it in 2 weeks. Picture that.
Yeah.
Picture that kind of system, maybe.
Yeah. At what point are you I wonder if she's optimistic. Every test, or after 500 attempts, is she I know how this is gonna go. I just can't get it.
I mean, but Cam, like you said, but Cam, like you said, the persistence of that, right?
I love
overcoming goals and all that kind of stuff. So, Cam, who's it going to be? Kidney stones or failed driving tests?
I'm gonna take kidney stones because I think, that one sucks. But I think it's a quick surgical procedure, and then you're not gonna believe this. You're like, oh, you think you've had kidney stones? Let me tell you a thing.
So, Cam, this brings us down to our final matchup. What the intricate bracketry has come down to an ironic match of sorts. One provides
joy,
dairy delights, and the other is a deposit of calcium, much from the
too much calcium
exactly. Both have calcium, milk, cows. So you want to be a lifelong ice cream man, 67 years. Or would you rather have had 172,155 kidney stones removed from your... Oh, by the way, they were all in one kidney. I also read that part. It was like all in his left kidney. Wild.
This one's interesting because I think it goes back to, what do you want to do with your life? Have 100,000 kidney stones all surgically removed at one shot? Or provide joy to your community? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Cam!
No.
Cam, it starts now! 68! Put the timer on your clock, God damn it. That's right. We're clipping the microphone. 68 years starts now. We will be bringing you the first ever Hiccup podcast every single week, charting Cam's journey through this affliction. So get ready for some clicks and some pops.
I call it an epidemic.
This is going to be terrible to listen to.
Wow, what are the chances? I'm going to take the ice cream man for the victory because I think that'd be a very sweet way to support your community.
The ice cream man takes the cake. That's not a pun.
Pun intended.
I don't think it's even a pun. No, Cam, fantastic. No, this was a lot of fun. But I had the most children running the gauntlet. I think the idea of my seed being so potent, I think that's what would that would sort of be the get. There.
You'd like to raise that many kids though?
You know what? The specifics I read about what was his name? Fedoro Vasiliev. It said nothing about him raising his children, only that he had them. So let's take a step back here. I don't think he's raising 87 children, but he's potent enough to have them.
I'm going to say those are two very different things then.
Yeah, I had children and Tallest Hat going all the way. That was my final.
We were close then.
It was good. There you have it, though. That was a lot of fun. Always fun to think about these records that people. Who's going for these? Just stop. Stop going for most rubber ducks.
Yeah, that's not a weak one.
No, you don't need to have that.
Imagine there's some girl in Ohio right now who's just pounding her desk.
Dude, there's a most like everything category. I found most Star Wars memorabilia. I found one most Transformer toys. Most any like product you can think of. There's somebody who has a most of it.
That's a sad world.
There's probably somebody who has the most computer mouses. I mean, I have 3, so there's clearly somebody who has way more than me.
The thing is, when your friends ask you, like, "Oh, just go to Jim. He has a ton of them." It's like, "Hey, can I have one?" You're like, "I'm kind of collecting them."
Yeah, he mostly uses the ones with the little rubber, the little ball in it. Remember the little ceramic ball that you'd have to clean out when it would like get gunky and stuff. No, well, I have 2 computers, therefore I have 2 mouses. I think that logic. Well, I have 3 mouses.
I could use a second mouse,
but the third. The third one's only because I found another one on sale. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Well, it was like the mouse I wanted was on sale, but I didn't buy. But I wanted it, even though I already have 2 mouses. I'm still gonna buy this new one.
I think they're called mice once you have more than one.
I don't think it is. I think they're called mouses.
Well, split the difference here, because I got shit to do tonight, so we gotta get on to our next game here. Whiteboard, read it.
It says. I can't really. Cam, you have odd handwriting.
Yeah, I've been trying to write with my left hand recently.
You've been writing with your left hand. Like I understand. Like yes, you're trying to strengthen your hand. You're going with this new workout routine. It says, "I'm the captain now."
Yeah, I was trying to do a bit. Like I was trying to. Captain Phillips it, but oh no, it's pirates.
Pirates, right. That's real funny, Cam. I know what you're talking about. Of course, you're talking about the flagship game. It's called Headline or Asinine.
Hey, headline or asinine.
Headline or asinine.
How is this game played, Cam? If you could, in a succinct 2 sentences, just like you earlier summarized, the show in 2 sentences, in 2 very quick sentences, how would you surmise this game?
We scour the world of headlines and try and find some of the most wacky, wild, and sometimes not real headlines out there. Pitch them to each other to figure out, can we decipher truth from asinine?
I feel like you should have said like fiction or something. That was great.
Yeah.
That was a great 2 sentences there. Let's change the word wacky next time. I don't like that. My grandma had a cat named Wacky, and it scratched me in the face one time. So just that kind of word.
Ooh, bitch.
Yeah, the cat. I know, and the cat too. Cam, I've got one here for you. Are you ready for it?
Is there?
Man dies after eating too much black licorice.
Oh, I think I would die after 2 sticks, personally. I fucking hate that shit.
Can you die of something tasted bad?
I think so.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, this would be it for me. I can see it being like a misleading headline where it's like he had diabetes or something. He was like, I'm going out on my fucking sword. So yeah, I'm calling headline.
Cam, you're a headline. I wish this was somebody's bucket list thing. But no, this actually happened to a 54-year-old man. Died. This man in Massachusetts lost consciousness inside of a fast food restaurant. Was taken to hospital where he died the next day. I mean, official cause of death is just kind of poor diet. Earlier on, he would eat several packs of candy a day. Fruit-flavored soft candies, and then recently, apparently, he had switched to licorice candy. Licorice contains, I practiced this before. I always practice these tough words before the show, and then we get into it.
I just roll with them, and no one notices.
I don't fucking know it. I think I ended up on glyrizic. Sorry, there's an H and a Z in there. Glyrizic acid. Okay, which is a sweetening compound derived from licorice root, and having too much of this could actually drop potassium levels in your body, which in turn could raise your blood pressure, swelling, create abnormal heart rhythms, and even heart failure. Of course, small black licorice is safe in small quantities, but not.
No, I'm going to tell every person. I'm like, that shit'll kill you.
It will kill you if you ate as much as this, presumably quite obese man. But yeah, there you have it.
Love it. Headliner asinine. Samuel L. Jackson will teach you to swear in 15 languages if you vote.
What's the fascination with the way Samuel L. Jackson cusses? I don't know. Like he narrated that the go the fuck to sleep, and everyone popped off after that. I mean, it was funny. And I guess in Pulp Fiction he says stuff. I can't quote it right now. You know how hard it is to think of a quote while you're talking, you have to continuously fill airtime.
It's the worst.
Because I don't want to have any silences, because silences leads to, viewers turning off, and this whole thing always having to be on. That being said, though, I don't see the advantage of learning swearing in so many languages, because you can just be rude to more people. Because if I know how to be rude to somebody in, Swahili, now I can just be rude to everybody who speaks Swahili. If I'm learning how to be rude in Chinese, now I could just, or maybe that's why people want it. They're like, hey, I want to be mean. I just want to go to Chinatown and just start spitting off slurs. So Samuel L. Jackson will teach me. That's a headline.
That's a headline. I don't know if you saw this in the news recently, but it's a hot headline. Samuel Jackson will teach a masterclass if you can basically go through the links provided and prove that you are registered to vote, which is a weird thing in America. You have to register to vote. You just don't just vote.
Yeah, and that's something that I think I've learned this round of elections. When people say like register to vote, I didn't quite kind of put two and two together that you go to the poll and then you say, "Hey, this is me," and they look at your ID and they're like, "Yep," and then
seems legit.
You vote and then you walk home. I wonder why that is. If it's part of like their process or maybe just like, the sheer amount of people.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I've
tried looking into it. It's not even worth discussing. It's so riddled in bullshit.
It's just complicated, which is weird because voting in Canada is one of the easier things that you can do. Of course, there's like walking. I mean, that's hard for some people, easy for us. Breathing, that's pretty easy to do. I mean, again, hard for some people. Voting, yeah. Okay, Cam, ready for a second headline?
Give me a headline. Yep.
Where are we here? Wife crashes her own funeral, horrifying her husband, who had paid to have her killed.
Ooh, that's a lot of things in one. Give me a read back on that.
That's a rise. A lot of things in one. Wife crashes her own funeral.
Okay.
Horrifying her husband, who had paid to have her killed.
Wow, that is a plot of a movie if I ever heard one. That's a real got 'em. The only problem the only problem with this is I think the first place you go is not like a got 'em situation. You're like, I think my husband's trying to kill me. I'm gonna go to the police. You're not like, I'm gonna go to the funeral and be like a big like before we
make
put this
a big
person down. Does anyone have any final words? Like, yeah, I do.
It's all about the reveal, the shock, the gasp.
Yeah, I'm gonna call asinine this one.
Cam, that's a headline. Let me explain what happened here. From Melbourne, Australia. Actually, this happened. So there's kind of like a lot of information, but these are two, a man and a woman, both from Kenya. One from Kenya, one from Congo, but they met in Australia. Okay, we're on the same page. But then one day, the wife gets kidnapped. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The husband had paid to have his wife kidnapped and killed. The only thing is, the two men who he paid to kidnap and kill his wife didn't really give a fuck about this guy. And quite frankly, they don't kill women. The bride who was kidnapped in the report says, so these two kidnappers kidnapped this woman's wife, told the husband we killed her, set her up in like a lodge for a few days. They took the money, ran away. And, after police reported that they couldn't find the woman and she was reported, missing, passed away. And this, that, the other, 6 days later, she crashes her own funeral.
That's incredible.
She doesn't just crash her own funeral with the news. No, what she crashed her funeral with is proof, evidence that her husband paid to kill her. The two hitmen, the two men who were hired to kill this woman, kept voicemail messages on their phones where the husband clearly said, "I'm paying you money to kidnap and kill my wife." He's in prison 9 years, which sounds like it should be more, right?
Yeah, I think you should probably up that a little bit. All right, next up. Bride heartbroken as $100 wedding dress from Wish looks nothing like a photo.
This is tough. Yeah, Wish, they're the sponsor of the Los Angeles Lakers. Congratulations. And there's a lot of things there too, right? Like ordering. I mean, when I think of a wedding dress, you think of the person going to the like the wedding store, like in that show, and there's like the over the top gay man who has to like dress you up and gets really excited, gives you champagne and all these sorts of things. And but I guess you can always just buy it online. You know your measurements. You know the dress is going to come in. If you're paying $100, you know it's not going to be that good. But then my question is, how much do you spend before you're like, I know what I'm getting? $100 wedding dress, something like sometimes that can cost tens of thousands of dollars, right? Like if you're paying $100 for it, you're clearly getting the discounted version.
Yeah.
So I don't think someone's that stupid. I'm gonna say asinine.
It's a real one, bud. So Megan Taylor, 23, bought a second-hand wedding dress through Wish for $107. It was supposed to be flowing, floor-length lace gown with a heart-shaped neck design. It barely fit her. When she got her legs straight, she was hardly able to put it on. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think what did she say? That maybe the word's not like I was truly heartbroken. Apparently she can't get a refund on it.
Cam. She can't get a refund on it.
Yeah, it's something to that. It's like she can't get a refund on it. I just now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, the word heartbroken I think is a little bit harsh. You're like it makes it sound like you're like, oh no, my wedding is ruined. But it's just like
that's a two-parter, right? Yeah. If you, how heartbroken can you be over something you spent $100 for? And two, you need a backup plan. If your first plan is the $100 wedding dress being delivered, you need a backup.
Don't tick that one off the whiteboard. If you're like, wedding dress, tick. Done with that.
Wedding dress is not tick.
No longer need to worry about this.
You do need to worry about wedding dress. Part 2, maybe.
Don't open it until the wedding day because we know it'll fit.
Don't open until wedding day because it fits. Did she include something in her in the article or in her response or anything to the effect of course I'm a size 2. I've been a size 2 since I was 14 years old. Did it include things kind of like that?
She didn't have a full description of
No, I didn't have a full description of because I can certainly see that option too of the dress says it's a 14, but she's actually an 18. And sorry, sister, you're not going to fit in that thing. You're just not going to fit. So maybe it could be a case of, mistaken identity, as it were. Cam, I have one more headline here for you. I'm going to rattle this one off. Ready for it, bud? Be sure to check your children's TikTok account for the Benadryl challenge.
Well, this reminds me of a story back when I was in a pharmacy and some kids walked up to me and kind of like, hey, is this the stuff that has the that stuff in it that gets you fucked up? And we're like, Connor knew the answer is like, no, they don't actually sell that in stores anymore.
Oh yeah, he was looking for like scissor at Shoppers Drug Mart, and it's like, no, we don't have codeine. We don't sell codeine to mix with your Sprite.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think there's probably a dumb TikTok challenge out there right now of kids just pounding that shit back. And then be like, I'm fucking woozy, fam. So yeah, I'm gonna go headline.
Cam, I love these headlines because you're goddamn right it is. This is true. If you're out there ticking and talking, there's a lot of kids taking a little too much Benadryl and just kind of filming themselves, I guess. I don't really quite know what's understanding. But earlier on in the summer, 3 teenage girls, this was in May, 3 teenage girls from Fort Worth, Texas were hospitalized after taking up to 14 tablets. And recently, a 15-year-old girl in Oklahoma has died from an overdose after eating 17 tablets of Benadryl. I've never taken Benadryl. I don't really have allergies or anything. I mean, it's a antihistamine. I get it. You're supposed to take 2 tablets every 4 to 6 hours. So of course that would go off. This isn't new though. I mean, there's been the Tide Pod challenge. Maybe. I did hear, there was reported deaths after the cinnamon challenge. The other week, TikTokers were filing down their own teeth.
I haven't heard of that one before.
Well, yeah, it was a headline. It was a headliner asinine like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Who did it? Me or you?
Clearly, if you've never heard of it before, I would have presented you the headline.
I forget things quickly. Remember. Come on, let's get on with it.
Come on, let's get on with it. The Cam Leclerc story.
All right, headliner asinine. Michigan stripper nearly suffocates in giant prop cake.
In giant prop cake?
Yeah, the ones that you push a cake in, the stripper pops out.
Oh, yeah. Well, oxygen would surely, deplete eventually, right? Who knows how long you've been in that cake for? Maybe it was a situation where they couldn't open it. like it was kind of locked in or something. God, I mean, you only got like 10 minutes in there, and then you got to hop out. But getting locked in, that doesn't sound right. I'm gonna say that's asinine.
That's asinine. I made it up.
I gotcha. I wonder if those stripper cakes have little like tanks of oxygen in them or something.
I'm sure they just have holes in them so you can breathe.
That's probably also true. Well, Cam, like you said, you've got places to be. We've all got places to be. Kim Mitchell is coming up next. Huge show. I'm sure he's got a huge show coming up. We'll probably hear hits like Patio Lanterns. We'll probably hear hits like I Am a Wild Party. I can't wait. I listen to Kim Mitchell on my drive home.
Beautiful. Take a look, folks. He's a great artist, great interviews, and I think he's doing a big show coming up soon, so take a listen. And folks, never forget, the Stonehenge Temple heads actually have bodies with them as well. Thanks for listening, everybody. Tune in next week.
Take care, folks.
Continuing tonight on Two C's in a Pod. 96.7 on your J-I-J-I-K.
Two C's in a pod, 2 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 C's because we're 2 C's in a pod, just like 2 C's in a pod, 2 C's in a pod at gmail.com.